How you doing, guys? We're back. We're going to be doing a booze review now. Specifically a whiskey review. A single malt whiskey review, but not a single malt from Scotland. We are going to be doing Penderyn. I know it says Penderyn if you just sort of look at it and spell it out, but I guess it's pronounced Penderyn. It is the one and only Welsh single malt whiskey, and actually the only Welsh distillery in Wales. First one in over 100 years, and they've been getting a lot of acclaim for their whiskeys. Been winning a lot of awards. There's a lot of shit on this box. Some of it's in, I assume, Gaelic, and the fuck if I'm going to try to pronounce that shit. I'll just read the box here. This is the original award-winning Penderyn single malt whiskey, matured in ex-bourbon barrels and finished in ex-Madeira casks, which is a wine, for generous flavor and subtle complexity. The hillside of Penderyn, southern gateway to the wild, beautiful Brecon Beacons National Park, gives its name to the unique Welsh single malt whiskey made here at the only distillery in Wales. One of the few distilleries in private hands today, Penderyn continues a treasured tradition. In the 18th century, an early Welsh distiller was among the founding fathers of bourbon distilling in America. Each day here we charge our unique copper still with unique fermented single variety malted barley wash. The day's distillation yields a single barrel of pure single malt spirit, which is married with spring water from our own source, then matured in selected first quality oak barrels. Unique distillation and careful maturation create a single malt whiskey in which a sweet, elegant Penderyn house style shines through. Then there's more to do. To attain their full depth and complexity of flavor, different handcrafted expressions of Penderyn are aged or finished in different woods. And they have a sherry cask. I believe they have a peated version of this, and they might have a couple other versions of this as well. But this is just their standard version. Do we need to know any of this stuff? It's 46%, so cask strength. Non-chill filtered, by the way, which is nice. And I don't really need to see any of this other shit. Don't need to say that stuff. But here's the bottle. Very elegant. Looks like a wine bottle, honestly. I mean, if you look at that, would you think whiskey? No, I would say scotch. Or, no. Excuse me. I'm a little drunk because I've had quite a few beers tonight. I would say wine. If I looked at that bottle, I would say wine. So, very classy, sophisticated sort of presentation for this. Looks very wine-like. I already have it poured in the glass, so there you go. It's quite viscous. Very, very nice legs on the glass. Of course, non-chill filtered, and the color is authentic. There's no caramel coloring in this. From what I understand, Penderyn is between 5 to 6 years aged. So it's not a very old whiskey. It's actually quite young. So that's interesting to me, to get into this and to see where the awards came from for this, because a very young whiskey is usually a difficult kind of thing to get awards, especially in whiskey, where they mark very high. So, cheers. We're going to go right to the aroma. You definitely get an alcohol bite to this. The youth of this whiskey certainly comes out in the nose a little bit. I'm getting a lot of malt, honey. Honey, malt, slightly, almost a cranberry kind of smell. I mean, there's that slight cranberry dark fruit smell, but there's also a lot of light floral sort of fruitiness as well that would come from like a Madeira sort of wine cask kind of smell. And I'm definitely getting a little bit of wood from the cask. I mean, this is bourbon and Madeira casks. I'm not really getting a lot of vanilla or bourbon heavy kind of notes on this. Maybe just a teeny bit, but it's really hard to sort of pick that out, especially at this age. It's very, very, very young. Maybe a little bit of vanilla, but not a lot. But I'm definitely getting the wood in the finish. And it smells very good, very mild. It's sweet, but it's not too sweet, which I appreciate. But I'm getting some vinous notes, definitely some slightly wine notes on that. And we're going to go right to the taste. Cheers. You can certainly taste the youth on this one. There's definitely an alcohol burn. Not just a burn, a sting. I'm going to put a little bit of water in that. When I took my initial sip of this, the alcohol was actually fairly dominant. The sting of it was kind of overbearing on the flavors. The water hasn't really hurt the nose any. If anything, it's kind of brought out the alcohol again. A little bit of sting on the nose now. So we'll go right to the taste here again. Try to get some taste out of this. There's almost a medium body to this. Kind of tastes kind of chewy, syrupy almost. Definitely a honey taste to it. Very nice little honey sweetness. I'm getting a slight hint of lighter fruits like pear, white grapes, something along those lines. Probably coming from the Madeiras again. Getting a little bit of wood in the finish, dry wood, a little bit of tannins coming out, not a lot. Definitely more of the alcohol sting than anything else coming out in the finish. Cool. Yeah, the swallow definitely brings the alcohol up. Like just it is a little rough around the edges. It is. But that being said, it's actually very, very nice. There's a nice malty character to it. There's definitely some flavor complexity going on. Honey, light fruits. Again, a little bit of that sort of cranberry-ish kind of taste. A nice dry, woody finish. Alcohol coming up in the finish. Warming going down. You know, it's really nice. It's a little, like I said, it's a little harsh. It is a little harsh. It could use some age. It really could. Like I said, 5 to 6 years, this expression is at this point. I can't wait for the 12 years, because the 12 years, I think this is going to smooth out very, very well. It's probably going to present itself much, much better than it is at this point. At this point, I have to give it a B+. There is promise for greatness in this whiskey. It's a very, very nice single malt. It's a very drinkable single malt. It's not especially complex at this point, and it is a little harsh. So, Penderyn, at this point, I'm going to give it a B+. I look forward to the day when I can see a 12-year-old expression of this released in bottles and try it again and see if it has improved any, because I think it will. It's a very well done whiskey. It's a very well made whiskey. It's just a little young. That's the only problem with it, really, at this point. Very good job from Penderyn. Thank you very much, guys, for watching for this long, 11 minutes now. And we will see you guys later. Cheers. Bye-bye.